never seen such desolation. I think we drove for a mile and there wasn't a building hardly standing.
Nobody knew what was going on. They called the situation fluid, but fluid means that nobody knew anything.
It was different. If I had done something else, I don't know what I would have done.
We're talking today with Dale Lancaster of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and the interviewer is James Smither of the Grand Valley State University Veterans History Project. Okay. Now, Dale, can you begin with some background on yourself, and to begin with, where and when were you born?
I was born in Wyoming, Michigan, which at that time was a township, and it wasn't a city yet. And so I was born on June the 6th, 1931.
Okay. And then, did you grow up there or did you move around?
Yes, I grew up there. It was actually 28th Street was called Beals Road. Interesting little fact.
Did not know that. All right. Okay. And what did your family do for a living when you were growing up?
My father worked for Nash Kelvinator, and he was a sprayer. He sprayed the enamel on the boxes of the refrigerators.
Mm-hmm. And did he have steady work through the 30s, or was it on and off?
We never went hungry, so I assumed that it was pretty much steady. And he provided for us.
Mm-hmm. And then did your mother stay at home, or did she work too?
She stayed at home.
Okay. And how many kids were in the family?
We had 5.
Okay.
So quite a family to take care of during that period of time. So.
All right. Now, you were still pretty young when World War II started, about 10 years old. And now, do you remember hearing about Pearl Harbor?
Oh, of course, yes.
Okay. And how did you learn about it?
The neighbors told us. So we had that contact.
Okay. And then, do you remember doing anything or seeing people do things kind of related to the war effort? I mean, did you have...
Yes, we collected scrap, and there was a thing for tin cans that people thought would be useful or valuable for the war effort. Mm-hmm. Everything was centered on that.
Okay. Now, did they do things like air raid drills or anything else like that?
Yes, we did that in school.
Okay.
Had to get under your desk and so on.
Okay. Did they ever do things at night, like enforce blackout rules or things like that, or was that not an issue?
I never heard of that. No,
okay.
I didn't.
All right. All right. Now, you're getting a little bit older as the war is going on. Did you pay much attention to the news from the war?
Oh, I was a war freak.
Mm-hmm.
I was interested in all of the world and wherever things were going on. So I used to take little flags and put them into a map so that I would be oriented to where the situation was going.
Mm-hmm. All right. And how would you get your information?
Mostly through the radio. And in fact, when Normandy came about, D-Day,
mm-hmm.
I woke up that morning and realized that they were using French words, names of cities,
mm-hmm.
and so on. So then I knew that it had happened, and I was looking forward to that.
All right.
So,
now, and then the war's over, you go to high school, and let's see, when did you graduate from high school?
In 1949.
Okay. And then what did you do after high school?
I became a teacher.
Oh, right away?
Not right away, but...
Yeah, so what's the next step after high school?
After high school was graduation, and so...
College?
I went to college. I went to Grand Rapids Junior College, which was called then Grand Rapids
Well, it was the junior
JC.
College then, yeah.
Yeah.
Community
but
college
now it's a community college today. And then I went to Western, transferred down there, and...
now, did you major in education, or did you have an academic?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I majored in education.
And then did you train for elementary or secondary, or was that everything?
Secondary.
Okay. And then did you have a field of specialization that you trained for?
Social studies.
Okay. And at that point, what did social studies include?
Well, anything from government, which I taught quite a bit eventually, and any of the social sciences.
Okay, so history, geography,
Yes.
economics of some
Right.
kind.
Right.
Was there anything else? I mean, did they include things like psychology or?
Yes, I actually started the psychology program at East Grand Rapids High School. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. All right. In the meantime, okay, so you're at Western, and when did you graduate from Western?
In 1954,
Okay. And what else happened to you in 1954?
I got married in June and got drafted in December.
Okay. Now, at the point when you were drafted in December, did you have a job yet, or were you still looking?
No, I didn't have a job at that particular point.
Okay. Now, had you done taken a draft physical or anything when you were 18, or is this the first you really heard from a draft board?
That was the first. That was the bad news.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, a friend of mine was on the draft board, and I never forgave him. Well, I actually worked with him at East Grand Rapids, so.
All right. So you get the notice, Uncle Sam wants you, so when do you have to report then? When do you start?
December the 8th, the day after what was the anniversary of Pearl Harbor.
Okay. Now, how did they process you? Once I mean, do you go to Detroit or somewhere else? Or?
Yes, I went to Detroit,
Okay. And what did you do in Detroit?
had a physical, and they told us why we would soon be going. So I went to Fort Leonard Wood then from there.
Okay. And where is Fort Leonard Wood?
In Missouri, and it's a pest hole because there's a little town there called Waynesville where all the prostitutes hung out, and guys got off the base and went there. We also had to have a fire drill because the buildings were wooden, and we had a fire watch every night. Somebody had to do that particular job.
How were the buildings heated? Because you're there in December.
Yeah, they were by pot-bellied stove.
Okay, so you've got basically burned coal, or
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, yeah. You need fire drills. All right. And now, when you went to basic training, were a lot of the guys there, your age, or were they mostly 19 or 18?
There was no uniformity because various draft boards operated on their own, as I understand it, so that they could some days take somebody if they wanted that particular person, or not take him. It was hit and miss very much.
Okay. And were the people you were training with from all over the country, or mostly from certain areas?
They were from all over the country. In fact, we had one kid, he was a Cajun
Yeah.
from Louisiana, who'd never taken a shower in his life, and who took one and liked it. It was a new experience for him. That was the kind of person you got in basic training.
Okay. Now, were there any black soldiers in your unit at that point, or were they still segregated?
No.
Okay.
No,
All right, because this is a period the Army has been desegregating since the late 40s, but it was still kind of a hit and miss proposition.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what did your training consist of, the basic training?
Well, I did 2 cycles, it was called. They were basic training and then advanced basic training.
Okay. Well, talk about the basic first. What do they make you do?
Well, I was supposed to learn how to shoot a rifle, which I'd never done before, And I happened to be in basic training with 3 guys from Minnesota who were hunters and who knew all about it. So they took me under their wings and taught me how to fire a rifle. And I got sharpshooter, even though they were responsible really for that.
Right. Okay. And then what kind of physical training did you get?
Oops.
Mike doesn't have a clip on it. Keep going. What kind of physical training did you get?
We had PT, of course, it was called, and we had to get up early in the morning, of course, and on occasion to get out there and do the calisthenics and so on. So,
And did you get long marches or runs or things like that?
yes, we did.
And this is sort of December and January.
A funny thing happened. One of the recruits was forced by the commander to run and then come back, and he forgot to say sir, so he made him run it over again. So that was not uncommon. You had all different kinds of people.
Okay.
It
What?
was an education.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, how easy or hard was it for you to adjust to life in the military?
Well, it wasn't easy because I'd just been married, and so I was missing my wife, and it was not a good experience.
Okay. Now, did you figure out pretty quickly how to behave and what to do?
Oh yeah, I was always compliant because I didn't want to get into any trouble. In fact, eventually in Europe, I was offered a job as a black marketeer, and I turned it down, not out of morals or anything, but I turned it down because I was afraid to be arrested or something and be in the brig.
Right.
So
Okay. Well, we'll come back to that when we get there. All right. So and how long does the basic training part last?
6 weeks,
Okay.
and then advanced basic was 6 additional weeks.
Okay. Now, what did you do in the advanced basic?
Well, a little bit more of all the same, calisthenics and that kind of thing. And
Were they training you for any particular?
well, I
type
was
of service?
in the combat engineers, and of course I thought that I would be in that role whenever I got to Europe or wherever I was going to be sent.
Right. Now, did they actually train you in anything that engineers did, or you still?
Yes,
Okay.
putting Bailey bridges together.
And could you describe that
I
a
have
little
some scars from that.
bit? So, what do you actually? I mean, can you explain for an outside audience? First of all, what is a Bailey bridge?
It's a temporary bridge that you made out of metal, which you throw together, maybe over a stream or something, and then you take it apart and go to the next river or whatever and do the same thing. So,
Okay. And so, how did you wind up with your scars?
well, because I was not very adept at putting bridges together, I was not used to that, or did I want to do it? But anyway.
All right. So, how long did that period of training last?
12 weeks and
Okay.
six.
So 6 and 6.
6 and 6.
Okay. And now, you mentioned some of the guys would go off to Waynesville and entertain themselves. And what did you do when you had any time to yourself?
Went to the library. That's what I tell my wife anyway. No, that's really what I did. Most of the places had a decent library, and you could check out books easily. So
Okay. And did your wife stay back in Michigan while you were in training?
Yes, she did.
Okay, so you get
And then we were given a leave at the end of the 12 weeks, so I did get home then at that particular time. And she was working in the Detroit area.
right. And then, how long was that leave home?
Pardon me?
How long was the leave? How long did you get to visit?
Oh, just a few days,
Okay.
but maybe a week. I don't
All right,
quite
and then,
remember.
so what then did you do after that? Are they going to ship you overseas now, or to another base?
Well, I volunteered to go overseas because Fort Leonard Wood was such a hellhole that I wanted to get out of there, and I volunteered then to go to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have been sent to the Pacific. That was a
Yeah.
possibility, but
But at least
I
by
was
then,
sent to Europe.
okay, at least by then the Korean War was over, so at
Yes.
least the official part of it, we still had troops there. But okay, so you get assigned to Germany. Okay, and then how did they get you to Germany?
I took a boat. I was seasick most of the way. That particular boat was decommissioned later when it got back to the U.S.
Okay.
So it was kind of again, not a pleasant journey, but
Right. Now, was it a troop transport or an old, Liberty ship or Victory ship, or
it
what
was
was
a victory ship. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was called that. Yeah.
Okay. And where did you sail out of?
We sailed out of New York,
Mhm.
and that was about it.
Okay. So and about how long did the voyage take?
12 days.
Okay. Now, was the weather bad, or were you just sick
No,
anyway?
I was prone to seasickness anyway, so it was not a pleasant journey. But anyway,
Okay. So and
I
then-
survived.
okay. So after 12 days, where do you wind up?
Well, I went to Heidelberg, which was the center for the army in Europe, and so I was interviewed there by a drunken sergeant who said, "We can send you to the historical division." And I breathed a sigh of relief because I knew then that I would be in my field and I was a historian or wanted to be. And so that worked out for me as a lucky break.
Okay. Explain a little bit sort of what the historical division was and what its purpose was.
Its purpose was to, for one thing, we were in Karlsruhe in Germany rather than in Heidelberg because they didn't want the German generals to be obvious, and we had them in Karlsruhe. So
Okay. Well, how would they be any less obvious in Karlsruhe than they would be in Heidelberg?
because Heidelberg was the center for the Europe, the army in Europe.
Right.
So
they didn't want a bunch
they
of...
didn't want the German generals who we had hired to be visible in Heidelberg.
Okay. And what did you hired? So these are former German generals from World War II that you've hired. And what are they doing for you?
Well, they're writing military history, and they, in many cases, couldn't speak very good English, obviously. So we tried to help them out with that, phrasing things and so on for them in their talks that they had to do. So that was what we tried to do.
Okay. Now, did you get, once you're assigned, okay, your drunken sergeant gives you the assignment, and then what do you actually wind up doing next? So let's just follow you through. You arrive in Germany and...
I was sent, and they weren't expecting me. So I showed up in the historical division and was just dropping in, so to speak. So I thought that was kind of unusual, but it was in some ways a kind of loose organization.
Yeah. I mean, what sort of people were serving in it?
Well, they were mostly college graduates, we had more more officers than we had enlisted men in the unit, and there were only 25 people total. So
Okay. And what kind of facilities or accommodations did you have there?
we were in an SS barracks initially, a Smiley Barracks it was called, and so.
And were there still physical indications that that had been an SS barracks?
No, but they told us that when we were stationed there.
Okay. And was it, and so was this part of a larger base that had other things going on it, or was it just you by yourselves?
It was pretty much just our building, yeah.
Okay. And once they've got you in there, then do they give you any kind of training or orientation?
Well, first of all, you had to be vetted for a security clearance, and it was top secret, so I had to be checked out for that. The FBI had to do that.
So who did they talk to?
They talked to relatives and so on, and just trying to vouch for my character, so to speak.
Okay. And then and how long did that take for them to decide you were okay?
Well, in the meantime, I had to make the mail run. Every day we had a mail run to Heidelberg, and we had a German driver, and I didn't have any stripes at that time because I was simply a private.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I went to Heidelberg, then they would, I would be saluted by everybody because they couldn't tell that I wasn't an officer. And the place was crawling with officers, obviously, so I got saluted all the time because I sat in the back seat, and the driver, of course, was driving, and it looked official, like we were really somebody.
So you were in like a staff car or something?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So that looks important. You weren't just sitting in the back of a Jeep. Okay. All right. And so you do the mail run, and so well, how far was it from Karlsruhe to Heidelberg?
About 50 miles.
Okay.
So it took a while to get there, although we had the use of the Autobahn,
Mm-hmm.
and so we could make good time that particular way.
Okay. Now, as you're kind of driving back and forth in that part of Germany, how much evidence did you see of damage from the war? Was that all cleaned up?
Oh, great. No, it had not been cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
Although there were spots where it was. In fact, they put the rubble in a big pile, almost like a mountain, and that rubble was then covered over with grass and so on, so it was eventually rather pleasant.
Okay. In general, what was the kind of attitude of the German people that you encountered toward American soldiers?
Well, they had to cooperate pretty much because, for instance, we rented an apartment on the German economy because the Germans wanted to make money,
Mm-hmm.
and so my wife was with me at that time, and so we rented an apartment, which was an interesting experience.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, did she know any German?
No,
Okay.
and I didn't either, really. I had no training in German, but that's the way it worked out.
Okay. So what would she do while you were going off to work?
Well, she would cook meals, and there was a park nearby, a place called Beethovenstrasse,
Mm-hmm.
and so we would go to the park, both she and I, and we had a good time.
Now, did you connect with any other soldiers there, have friends or people that you did things with?
Oh yes, there were other people in the building. In fact, where we rented, that Bill and Eleanor were their names, and he had brought his wife also over there, so we were kind of buddies then.
Right. So you got a little bit of a community of sorts
Yes,
there.
yeah.
Okay. And at that point, did you make enough money to do okay there and pay your rent and buy food and that kind of thing?
Yes, because the German economy was still recovering. It had been 10 years, after the war, so there was still much damage, and you could see that wherever you went.
And the dollar was still strong enough in 1955
Exactly,
that
yeah.
you could do okay.
We traveled all over Western Europe on a private salary.
That's pretty good.
And she got an allotment, so that's what we did.
Okay. So that's going on. Now let's talk a little bit more about your job on a day-to-day basis. I mean, once you get your security clearance and you can kind of go to work in the historical division doing their stuff, what were you doing?
Well, we were working on secret documents because by that time in '55 and so on, the enemy was not the Germans anymore, but the Russians. And we knew that the Russians were capable of getting to Karlsruhe and to that area very easily. And we would have been overrun probably. So we were taking a chance, for instance, to having our wives there. But, when you're young, you take chances.
Well, was there an attitude that they probably were going to attack, or did you think they probably won't, or?
Well, we gambled that they weren't.
Right.
And they probably would not have.
I guess it's a question of was there a certain level of tension there? I mean,
Yeah, I think you always felt that. Yeah.
okay. So what did you want to learn from these German officers or generals that you had?
They were and they were paid by both the West German government, which is West Germany at that time, and the Americans, because we wanted to pump them for information on, again, how to, since they had gone to Russia and had fought in Russia, what do you do to combat the Russians?
So were they writing the histories of their own campaigns, or do we get more as kind of military theory, or what were they doing?
It was a matter of knowing what was going on and realizing that you had to do this. It was kind of a job that you had to do. So we wrote monographs and that kind of thing on using the German generals. And I knew General Franz Halder, who was Hitler's chief of staff and had planned the Polish and Russian invasions. And he was working for the U.S. and also for the West German government. And he was a fine old gentleman. He thought Hitler was an idiot, but that was, I guess, natural for the generals to feel that way. And so they wrote monographs for us and tried to inform us as to how to defeat the Russians if and when that came about.
And did they sort of stay away from talking about any of the really bad stuff the Germans did, or just blame it all on Hitler? Or?
Well, that was pretty much, Hitler was the scapegoat then. for all the evils. In fact, Halder thought that he was an idiot because of his Russian campaigns that didn't work out. And
Yeah. So, I guess, and then did Halder otherwise try to distance himself from the Nazis, or what did he talk about? His background?
well, he was Persilized, was the saying. Persil is a German soap, and everyone was Persilized because no one would admit, that they had any connection with the Nazis at all.
Okay. Now, was he the only one that you worked with, or were there others that you also helped?
There were some others, but I can't remember
Okay.
all of their names.
But he was the most prominent of them.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. And in fact, he was very fortunate in that he was under house arrest after he was removed as chief of staff because he was disagreeing with Hitler, and that you couldn't do. And so he was able to escape then and not be charged with anything. So
he's not tried at Nuremberg or anything
no,
like that?
no, he was not.
Okay. And about how old was he, do you think, when you were talking to him?
Oh, he was an older gentleman. I don't know. He had been active
Yeah.
during the war, so obviously
it's 10
he
years
was.
later.
But this is 10 years later, right?
Okay. All right. Now, when you were working with these people, would you be on a team? Would you be with a couple of the officers, or what would you do?
Yes, yeah, with a detachment it was called. And we would work on a particular project. Then again, the idea was to be prepared, if it came down to it, to defeat the Russians.
Do you remember anything about what they told you about what they thought maybe the weaknesses of the Russians were, or good ways of dealing with them?
The Russians had no regard for human life. At least the officers didn't. They'd send them in and get mowed down. So life was cheap.
Okay. Are there other particular impressions that you had, or things that you took out of that, other than that sort of disregard for human life? Were there other qualities of the Russians that were important to be aware of?
Well, they didn't. They weren't very good soldiers, simply because they were drafted, I suppose, just like I was, and so they were shoved into battle without too much preparation early in the war, at least.
Certainly.
Then later in the war, they got their act together, and they were better at it, and they could do it.
Okay. Now, what do you remember about the other people that on your team, the people you worked with in the historical division?
Well, I worked with a guy named Sid Reiner. He was Jewish, and of course that was an area of contention because his parents used to send him kosher salami through the mail, and Sid was a good guy. He was a private like I was. He didn't want to be a career officer or anything. So.
And then did you get to know any of the officers?
Yes, we had a colonel. His name was Colonel Barda, and he insisted that we get PE because we were working in office jobs. And so he decreed that there would be one afternoon a week where we would get PE. And I played tennis with another person, And so that was my exercise for the week. And it was wonderful because we had an afternoon off, so to speak.
All right. Now, over the course of the time you're there, you arrived in 55, you're there into 56. In 1956, you get the Hungarian Revolution going on.
Yes.
How did that affect the situation you were in, or?
Well, there was talk that we would be extended. That is, our term would be extended there and we'd have to stay there no matter what happened. So that was kind of a nail biter. And we were relieved when nothing happened from that. The revolution occurred, but we didn't interfere
Right.
as the U.S. So
And while it was going on, were bases on a more heightened state of alert, or were there?
yes, yeah.
So how did that affect you, or in what ways did you notice it?
Well, I didn't see any effect at all.
Okay. You just knew that stuff was going on?
Yes. And Eisenhower had said something to the effect that we might interfere in the revolution, but we didn't. Fortunately, I guess, as it turned out.
All right. Now, are there other things that kind of stand out in your memory here? You've got a few notes here. Take a look at those. Other pieces of the story of your time in Germany that we haven't brought in here yet.
Well, I wanted to mention about the U-2 flights. I was aware of that because we were getting a monthly intelligence survey which showed these pictures that had been taken of Russia, and they were sharp and well done, and they were taken by the U-2 flights. And you certainly have heard of Gary Powers, who in 1961, this is after I left the service, but he was shot down over Russia and parachuted safely and was captured by the Russians. And so Khrushchev made a great deal of that particular incident, that you couldn't trust the Americans. And of course you can't trust anybody in wartime or in intelligence matters.
Okay, but this is still the mid-50s, though, and the U-2 is already in operation, and these things are already happening. Now, that actually gets into another piece of your job that you haven't really talked about. I mean, one of the things you did was to, work with these German officers, but what other duties did you have?
I was the usurer chronologist, it was called.
Okay. Now, usurer presumably is not moneylender. What did usurer mean?
No, United States Army Europe. And our job then was to keep a record daily of troop movement from place to place and so on. And it was kind of dull work, but on the other hand, it was vital, I guess, particularly if you're going to know where things are. And officers would come to the office and would check on where a particular unit was for their own information and to know what they were supposed to be doing.
Okay. So, so this is for American forces all over the world, basically? Or just in Europe?
Just in Europe,
Just in Europe.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, where else did we have people at that point?
Well, the Far East,
Yeah.
we did.
But
So,
you covered that too? I mean,
no,
Okay.
no.
but within Europe, where did we have people stationed? So you're looking at people in Germany, and then where else were they?
We had some in France. We had the line of communications through France, which was the backup for what was happening in that part of the world. So
But do we have them in Italy or the Netherlands or other places?
I'm sure we did, yeah.
But not what you were dealing with.
Not where we were.
Okay. Now, while you were in there, your service time is getting to an end. Did anybody encourage you to re-enlist and stay? Or?
Well, I had an offer to be a civilian in Algeria,
Okay.
but wanted to get back to the good old USA.
What would you have done as a civilian in Algeria?
The same type of work,
Okay.
but as a civilian.
So.
And my wife would have had to live in a compound because that's a Muslim country. And so we thought it over and decided we wouldn't
Okay.
do that. We'd come back to the U.S.
All right. And then you mentioned earlier something about someone wanted you to get into the black market.
Oh, yes.
What was that about?
Yes. Oh, well, there was a black market, and particularly in cigarettes, because cigarettes were very valuable. And so this GI offered me he was going home, so he offered me the job of running his black market. And I didn't turn it down because of morals or anything, but I was afraid to be arrested or something.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to make any waves, so that's what I did. I turned it down. And I guess the black market then went out of business.
At least that particular operation.
The one that he was running.
All right. I'm sure someone else would have picked up the slack.
Sure.
All right. So when do you leave Germany then?
In November of '56,
Okay.
and get back to the U.S. and.
Okay. And do you get discharged as soon as you get home, or do you have to go to a base
Yes,
somewhere? Or?
no, discharged at Fort Hamilton in New York.
Okay. All right.
And that Statue of Liberty looked pretty good.
That was liberty then in a lot of ways. All right. So now once you're out of the Army, now what do you do?
Well, you put in 6 years of additional standby service.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it worked at that particular
Was
time.
that inactive reserve?
Inactive reserve.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you got to go get a job.
Well, then I got a job at East Grand Rapids High School.
Okay.
And I got hired by mail because I got the Western Bulletin, and so read this and sent a letter to East Grand Rapids, and they hired me.
Okay. So you
Because
sent
they had a military program that they wanted somebody for.
Okay.
And actually, that wasn't much of my job, but
Okay. So you were writing them from Germany?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had a job waiting for you by the time you got
Yes.
home?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was another incentive to get back, and
So did you start right in the middle of the year then, in January?
yes, I
or
did
whatever?
in January.
Okay. And then how long did you wind up teaching in East Grand Rapids?
25 years.
Okay. And then what did you do after that?
Then I went to Aquinas when I retired. I worked at Aquinas on World War II classes.
So it's going to be the adult education, or were you teaching?
Yes, it's the Emeritus program,
Right.
it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you did that kind of recreationally. I take
Yes,
it that wasn't
yeah.
a huge amount of money. All right. Now, to look back at the time that you spent in the service, how do you think that affected you, or what did you learn from it?
Well, I certainly learned to take care of myself, and then my wife took care of me later, so it worked out.
All right. Is it something that you'd recommend to other people? I mean, was it worthwhile for you to do?
Well, as it turned out, yes, very worthwhile because of the historical division experience, and So it was okay.
All right then. Well, I'd just like to close here by thanking you for taking the time to come in and share your story today.
Very good.
I never seen such desolation. I think we drove for a mile and there wasn't a building hardly standing.
Nobody knew what was going on. They called the situation fluid, but fluid means that nobody knew anything.
It was different. If I had done something else, I don't know what I would have done.